No more communism.
Athena Castillo is determined to keep fighting. She and many other Cuban Americans want to put pressure on the UN and the US government to help Cubans on the island. The New York-based Cuban Dominican artist has been both vocal and visible in her protest against the Cuban regime.
We just need to continue having the voices of the Cuban people amplified by us. Unfortunately, they would be in jail or killed for doing what we're doing right now. So we're going to continue giving our people hope. We're going to continue being out here in front of important places such as the UN and the White House. It's showing them that we're supporting them from this country so they can continue the fight.
Since the protests in July, it has become more difficult for Cubans to communicate with the outside world. And speaking to foreign media is dangerous. The government has issued draconian laws to punish those who raise their voice. Via text and voice messages, I managed to speak to someone who was there, who witnessed the protests. We call him Carlos. For his safety, we cannot reveal his name. We even had to alter his voice. Carlos gives me a glimpse of what everyday life for people on the island looks like, sends me pictures and videos.
My routine is I just ride around Havana with my backpack and kind of just look for things I need, see what's available, see who's selling what. Some food, some tomatoes, maybe I find some rice. I've been looking for sugar for about 2 months now. I can't find any sugar. All the grocery stores are totally empty. There's nothing available. I see these huge food lines. People are, in line the entire day just to get some toilet paper.
It's stories like these that Pedro Martin hears every time he speaks to his family and friends back home. The filmmaker was born in Cuba but has lived in exile in New York for 5 years. He had to flee because his documentaries were too critical for the Cuban government. Like many in the Cuban diaspora, he doesn't know if he'll ever be able to go back home.
Across the world, many Cubans are afraid to speak because we know that we can get banned to get into our country. We can get banned to see our family. My parents, they are not young, they are in their 70s. If they ban you to see your parents now, probably you won't see your family never more alive. And that's how they threat the people.
Over the phone, Carlos tells me that the threats and the crackdown by the Cuban government on its people have had the desired effect.
I can see it in people's eyes, they're scared. Obviously, they don't want to go to jail forever, so they're kind of just keeping their mouth shut. And I think the majority of the people are hoping now that the world intervenes, the UN, the US, somebody can help them because they're just too scared to continue.
That's why activists like Athena say it's even more important for Cubans in the US and elsewhere to make themselves heard, in the hope that those in power will finally start listening.